What is up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day number 1 of my 31 Days of Horror 2025. Yes, I did not do this last year. I did a Christmas themed one of these in December, but I just didn't feel like really doing this in October last year, so I am doing it now. And full disclosure, I am doing it ahead of time. These are videos I'm just gonna film throughout the year as I try to watch through the DVDs in my collection. As you can see behind me, they are dangerously stacked up, and I should probably adjust that so they don't go falling. But basically the theme this year is, and the reason they're kind of stacked like that, is I'm gonna do the movies that I have not watched in my DVD stack specifically, because that's what I have the most unwatched stuff, and I've had for years some of these movies and just never feel like picking them up and watching them. And I put them in order of when they came out. Yeah, so from like the oldest film to the newest is the way I'm gonna do it. And I did this one year before, but I did it the newest movie to the, oldest film. So I would do something from like 2018 down to 1950 or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, that's how I'm gonna do it, and yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. The first thing I have here is actually a multi-pack of 8 films, the Shadows collection, and it's very random. The movies on here range from films that came out in like the late 2000s to movies that came out in the 30s, and that's what I'm going to be talking about, and that is one called The Ghost Walks, if you can see that at all. But The Ghost Walks is a film that came out in 1934, I believe. It's only 63 minutes, black and white, of course, and one I had never heard of before, so I didn't really know what to expect getting into it. And of course, The Ghost Walks, like a lot of these titles from these older made movies, were just very weird and had nothing to do with the film, or just you didn't really know what you were getting into unless you read into it. But basically, this is about this playwright who has big ambitions for this play that he has. He wants to get it on Broadway, and he's taking his friend up to his house to basically do a read-through of the play. And while they're driving, they get into this big storm, so they end up seeking refuge in this old mansion. And, there's some other people there, and they have dinner. One thing leads to another, and a murder takes place. And so everyone ends up pretty panicked, obviously, and scared. And about 30 minutes into the movie or so, pretty much halfway through, there's like a twisty thing in it where it's like, this was all part of like the game, but then it's like, was it really, type of thing. And then the movie kind of goes from there. So yeah, like I said, I didn't know anything about the movie really going into it, and it is a pretty old film. Like I said, crazy 1934 is, 90 years ago, 91 years ago, stuff. So that's pretty wild. But the quality of the film is not great. Like, it looks really like just old and beat up and stuff like that, but that's to be expected for a movie this old. I'd assume this is probably like a lower grade film, obviously not a well-known film or anything like that, but I actually thought it was pretty good and enjoyable, and it's more of like a mystery comedy. There's a lot of like zingers, lines that you would expect from this time period, that very sort of kind of slapstick comedy, but not really that goofy or anything, just like silly little lines that get said here and there, and you're like, haha, that's funny. So I thought that made it enjoyable. Like, it was like a lot of it actually did hit for me. It wasn't like laugh out loud hilarious or anything like that, but it was enough to be like, oh, that's, cute, charming, stuff like that. And it's very much like an old dark house type film, a whodunit. That's what it is, pretty much, a whodunit murder mystery movie. So it's very kind of, if you look at it in that aspect, it feels kind of paint by numbers and like you've seen it before, but it also has like a cool little quirk to it with like, is this a play? Is this really happening? Are people really being killed? Or are they not? So, in that respect, I think it does have uniqueness, and it's old, it's 1934. It feels a lot like The Haunting or House on a Haunted Hill, but those movies obviously came out later than this. So that respect is interesting to me. I'm not very versed in movies from way back when, like the black and white era and stuff like that. So I don't really know like the timeline of when different things were super popular. So I always assumed like, you know, House on Haunted Hill, that's like where it was at, and then like things kind of ripped that off, if you want to say it like that or what. But apparently, you know, not. This was going on way before that. So that is cool to see. It's got good atmosphere. There's actually a really creepy scene in it that I thought like, oh, that's pretty spooky and holds up. So and it's really just like a visual that you see for like 1 second of the film, a few seconds of the film, but you know, I thought it was decent. But yeah, so overall I thought this one was good. It had its charm, it had its funny moments, it had good creepy atmosphere to it. Like, I like the whole old dark house type setting, as overplayed as it may be. I do enjoy it. So I was pleasantly surprised with this. It wasn't too hard to follow or anything, despite it having a few twists and turns and stuff like that. It was pretty easy to kind of get into, and I mean, for me personally, like, I didn't lose interest. But again, is it the most unique thing? No. And is it the look of it and stuff like that is pretty rough. But besides that, I thought it was solid. So I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. That might seem kind of low, but you know, I've seen like better ones to come out over the years and stuff like that. And you know, a movie from 1934, black and white, super old, isn't necessarily something I'm gonna run to over and over again. But again, it at least is short. Like, it's 63 minutes, so it gets in, gets out, and it's a good time throughout. So yeah, pretty solid one. The Ghost Walks, 1934. Yeah, the other movies on here, like I said, I'm not even, they're not going to be like next up in my reviews, because some of them are from like 2007, or I think one might be from like the 60s, 80, you know. I don't really know how these movies all get placed on one DVD pack. Like, some of these make sense, and then some of them do not at all. I mean, I guess it's because it's Echo Bridge. They must just get rights to these films and then just put out whatever, and just, they're like, here's 8 movies, have fun. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought this at the dollar store when I was going through that craze of buying all those $1 movies. Now I don't really support the Dollar Tree, because $1.25 irritates me, and the fact that they have that section where stuff is more expensive, like $5 and stuff, irritates me even more. So I don't really shop there anymore, because I feel like you can almost get cheaper deals. Well, you can still get stuff for $1 at like Dollar General. But anyway, that's my rant. Yeah, so yeah, that movie was cool. Thank you guys for joining me here for day number 1 of my 31 Days of Horror 2025, and I'll see you tomorrow for day number 2.